We see it as an opportunity.
I see it as an opportunity, and I'm excited because I know that the agent on the other side of this deal is legit professional, and this deal's going to get to the closing line.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And they're going to
Welcome to Loans Elevated, the podcast that brings you the latest industry news, expert interviews, and insightful discussions that will help you stay ahead in this dynamic market. I'm your host, Broch Lassig, and I've spent years in the trenches of the mortgage industry, helping individuals and businesses navigate the complex landscape of real estate financing.
I'm your co-host, TJ Heidenreich, and together we'll cover a wide range of topics, from business strategies that skyrocket your success to mindset and motivation that fuel your growth.
All right.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Loans Elevated. Today's a fun one. We're talking about pre-approvals, and this, if you're a listing agent or have listings, and as the market, I mean, we're in a transitional market right now. So either your listing sitting for a couple weeks, or as soon as you list it, it is
got multiple
bloodbath.
offers, multiple showings. Yeah.
Yep.
It can go one way or the other.
Oh, for sure. So one thing that I've noticed in just seeing the market as a whole is there's a lot of pre-approvals out there that aren't legit pre-approvals. Our pre-approvals are legit. When we've mentioned this in an episode before, you said they're worth more than the paper we write them on.
Yes, for sure. Big deal.
We actually vet out soup to nuts, income, assets, credit, full documentation, everything.
Mm-hmm. Which ironically is the definition of a pre-approval.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a pre-qualification and pre-approval. Pre-qualification is
what 90% of the business does.
Exactly. And that's just, hey, Mr. Borrower, do you have good credit? What's your income? What debts do you have? Okay, You're qualified. Here's a piece of paper. Give this to the listing agent. And that doesn't work.
The big credit unions and banks are well known for that. Because they go on and just fill out a quick questionnaire.
Yep. And then they protect themselves with this is conditional upon full verification of something.
Fine print.
Yeah, all in the fine print.
Yep.
Which, if you're a seller, you want to make sure that, I mean, the biggest thing you want is a guarantee. That's the most important thing to you. Obviously, you want to make the most money as possible, but more oftentimes than not, you're looking to buy something else, and your offer on the new home you're buying is contingent upon your sale going through. So you want a guarantee that if you submit an offer, you're going to get cash in hand and ready to go buy the next house.
Especially because they oftentimes have to move on to the next one. And I mean, I don't know about you, but if I was a seller and I was selling something, one of my properties, and I had two offers, and one was $5,000 more than the other, but the other one that was less, guaranteed that they'd close quicker. And I mean, I felt way more comfortable at the offer. I would take $5,000 less.
Oh, for sure. Just having that guarantee.
Close.
Well, a lot of agents, they don't advise that the client start packing up their house until you pass the loan approval period or the financing appraisal deadline.
Yep.
So, if you can have an offer that has a very quick appraisal deadline and financing deadline, that just shows how serious that buyer is and how far they are already in that financing, that pre-approval, to know that they're that confident in it.
Mm-hmm. So they know they can move on and not deal with the extensions, all the BS that can come up in a transaction, which happens often.
For sure. So the sad fact is that our industry is a very low barrier to entry. And there's a lot of people, especially right now, they're desperate to get a deal that they'll write a pre-approval when maybe they should not have.
Just hope a miracle happens and it gets to the closing table.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
So we've come up with a few questions, actually 10 questions that you can ask the lender of the buyer that's putting an offer on your listing to make sure that lender is actually vetted out and that pre-approval is fully vetted out to ensure that your sellers are going to get to that closing table. First one is, can you confirm if the home buyer is straight salary, hourly, commission, bonus, or self-employed? This is information that a lender should know.
Big deal. Right off the bat. Oh, for sure.
Exactly. Because if it's not straight up salary, if they're hourly, we need to get pay stubs.
Like the quickest way to know the direction of how the pre-approval is going to go.
Exactly. Because
it's going to be self-employed. Oftentimes, it's going to be a little bit more complicated. Complicated might take a little bit more time.
Exactly.
If someone says salary, right away. All right, this is going to be clean.
This is going to be an easier one because it's easier to track. If it's hourly, then the lender needs to make sure, okay, are they working full time? Is there any variable time? Is there overtime? Make sure all of that is being calculated.
Yeah.
Second question. Does the home buyer own any other real estate? This is important, obviously, because if they own any other real estate, we need to make sure that was calculated in their debt to income ratio.
Yeah. Or know if they have other assets they can access. Or
Exactly. Borrow from funds from that property.
Exactly.
Like, it just gives you a little bit more into the picture.
Show strength.
Yeah, exactly. Has the home buyer suffered a BK, short sale, or foreclosure in the past? If so, how many years? That's something that the lender should know because it shows in the credit report.
Sure. Yep. Number 4, have you reviewed the buyer's tax returns for the past 2 years? So, again, I mean, documentation is important. A good portion of the competition won't go to this extent. If you're a listing agent and a lender is not able to immediately say, yes, we've reviewed the income documentation over the last 2 years, especially being self-employed, you definitely need to raise the red flags immediately. So that's a big one.
For sure. And if there's any other debts that they owe to the IRS, or to the government, because that's a
tax
big deal.
repayment plans.
Yep. Because
Those don't show
oftentimes
up on credit.
Exactly. It doesn't show up on credit. And then if a lender did not get that up front, oh crap, DTI was tight to begin with. Now they got it later on.
$600
you got to add
tax
that.
repayment plan.
It could screw up the whole deal.
Oh yeah. Big time.
Next, have you gathered and verified home buyers cash to close? This is big because, and actually this is, this also lumps along with number 6. Does the home buyer require gift funds from a family member in order to buy? Yeah. Both of these kind of go hand in hand because we also want to verify the gift, make sure the gift money is legit, and we don't get that later on in the process and be like, oh crap, now we've got to get bank statements from the gifter. They just somehow got this magically. Like, make sure all of it makes sense.
Yeah, well, and depending on the program, the gift, I guess, guidelines of what we're needing to gather might change.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Knowing that up front
is conventional.
Yeah, exactly.
Making sure it's coming from acceptable source, a family member.
Yep.
You want to go to the next one? Number 7?
Can you confirm the loan has been approved through desktop underwriter, or just, in other words, an automated underwriting system, which every lender has to use in order to obtain a approval? And this is where it, basically goes over everything we need to get and verify to maintain the approval. So, that one, not to say is more important than the others, but
it's very important. You
very
can't,
important.
It's a hard stop if you can't get that. You have to jump through a lot more hoops if you can't get that approval.
Well, and how many times have we looked at loans that seem like home runs,
that look good on paper,
and then you run automated underwriting and it's, for whatever reason, not.
It just doesn't like the total profile. So then you've got to play with it. Maybe we add in a little bit more reserves or pay off a debt here, and then it likes it. Because lending, it seems pretty straightforward and upfront. Like, okay, you keep your DTI under 50 on this specific program, but for some reason, really DU doesn't like it at 50. If it likes it at 43 on this for this profile. So it's just, you want to make sure that you've gotten through that through either DU or LP.
Yeah, that's like the final say, really, is what that automated underwriting is.
Yep.
So
exactly. And then number 8, can you commit to a 10-day loan approval, including appraisal? That's important because that shows how much work you've already done beforehand. Because if you can commit to 10 days, that means you can order the appraisal as soon as the offer is accepted and get them through initial underwriting to make sure there's no other hiccups. And if you haven't done your homework up front, odds are it's going to be taking more than 10 days.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And that's sorry to cut you off, Ryan, but that's important for sellers because they can pack after that 10 days. And if it's a 30-day contract, they now have got 20 days to pack.
Right. Well, I didn't know oftentimes our calls to listing agents when we're putting in offers is the fact that all we really need is to push the appraisal button at that point.
Exactly. And it's legit when we say that. I feel like a lot of agents or a lot of lenders just say that, blowing smoke.
Right. But it's we have all documents up front.
All we need is the address plugged in. We press the appraisal button. We're good to go.
Yeah.
Push us in underwriting.
Oh, for sure.
You want to go to the next one?
Yeah. 9, is the pre-approval contingent upon sale of the home buyer's existing residence? This one's huge.
Yeah.
Especially in a busier market where a lot of contingent offers might be placed at the bottom of the list. And honestly, like, I would be excited for them to ask me this as a lender because we have so many ways to remove that contingency if we need. But even then,
for sure, like our specific like bridge loan workarounds we have and stuff that, definitely.
Yeah, but not every lender will, and that's a big deal. If you know there's no other ways and it's fully 100% contingent upon that existing house selling, well, now you got to worry about, is the listing priced right?
Yeah, it's just one more cog in the wheel.
Is it in a good area? What price range is it? Like, knowing those details, your seller will want to know because that's going to affect whether or not the purchase transaction closes. Because if that's going to sit on the market and it's contingent on closing, you're not going to close if it doesn't sell.
Exactly. And then number 10, have you rerun your pre-approval specific to the terms of this offer, including taxes, insurance, and HOA fees?
Oh yeah, that's a nice
Another
one.
big one. Like I mean, all these, it's hard to say which one holds the most weight because
Costs are all equally
taxes are can be so different from home to home. HOA and all of this is contributing to that monthly payment, which is.
And if you're working with tight ratios,
right?
If let's say you're running a payment and automated underwriting and everything on a house that didn't have an HOA,
you add in $200 on HOA, you're
$200
SOL.
could be be the dagger for sure.
Yeah. So I hope this helps. We've got access. We can send this out as a flyer as well, so you guys can just have on your desk or on your desktop if you ever need to call lenders to vet them out. And I think this shows the true strength of the lender on the other side of the deal, because I think some lenders, if they're newer and or unexperienced or just don't know what the hell they're doing,
shaking in their boots for sure.
If they were asked these questions, they'd be like, "Oh crap!" Like, yeah, they caught me. But if it's someone that knows what they're doing, is experienced,
we see it as an opportunity.
I see it as an opportunity, and I'm excited because I know that the agent on the other side of this deal is legit, professional, and this deal's gonna get to the closing line.
Oh yeah, for sure. And they're gonna be impressed if you answer all of these right off the bat.
Oh, for sure. And I'd be impressed if a listing agent called me and asked me these questions. I'd be like, all right. Yeah, I need to talk to you more because you know exactly what we're talking about. So sweet. Awesome, guys. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please remember to like, subscribe, comment, and if there's any other questions that if you're a listing agent, you like to ask lenders, please comment them down below and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Thank you for tuning in. For more industry insights, follow us on all platforms at Loans Elevated.
And to get in touch with our team, call or text 801-713-4000 or visit loanselevated.com.